Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in today's video I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest episode of The Mandalorian. I realized that this is the second to last episode before the big season finale next week, guys. How has it gone by this fast already? It feels like October was only yesterday, and time flies when time flies. Before I begin, of course, as usual with most of my episode reviews, especially for a show like The Mandalorian, if you're not caught up on this episode or previous episodes, you might not want to keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. So you have been warned. That being said, let's dive right into it. First and foremost, the first half of this episode was frankly a little underwhelming for me. And that's not the fault of the show, it's actually on me. What I mean by that is that the past two episodes have been fucking fantastic. Last week episode was the amazing episode and like the big debut of Boba Fett getting his armor back. And then the episode before that was the big grand live action debut of Ahsoka Tano, which was amazing and so fucking awesome. So the past two episodes have been outstanding, and I guess it's because I set an expectation for myself that I thought this episode would top or be at the same level and match those two episodes. But unfortunately, not every episode for every TV show is going to be like that. You're going to have your big hits and you're going to have your slower ones, but sometimes those slower paced episodes and stories are necessary because it usually means a pretty juicy payoff is probably headed our way. And it feels like we're probably in for a pretty big awesome treat in next week's season finale. At least that's what I'm hoping for. That's not to say I hated this episode. I enjoyed this episode very much, mostly because of Mayfeld. He became a popular character last season, despite only appearing in one episode. And now I think he's definitely going to have a bigger fandom because of the great performance by the funny Bill Burr. And now they've also made him a lot more interesting and complex, where he's not exactly an outstanding do-good citizen with a strong moral compass. He's more of an anti-hero who's a bit more morally ambiguous, and those are the best kind of characters, at least in my opinion. And it was very clear that he was no fan of the Empire, and even when he was a soldier of the Empire, he was questioning a lot of shit that they were doing. Like, what was this really for? We lost a lot of our own men, we killed a lot of civilians, and lots of families were basically just annihilated. And I also loved that actor who played the creepy Imperial officer that made him and Mando sit down and have a drink with him. That actor is such a great actor at playing villains and scummy, creepy villains, and he nailed it in this episode as the scary Imperial officer. And it was super satisfying to watch Mayfeld just blow him away with his blaster. And I also loved how Cara and Mando were both so impressed with Mayfeld and the way he handled himself in the Imperial refinery that they actually agreed to let him go by declaring him dead. This episode kind of surprised me because I thought it would be Mando having a big break-in kind of heist-type adventure episode where he breaks Mayfeld out of prison. Well, as it turns out, Cara is actually an officially sanctioned marshal of the New Republic, so all she had to do was sign him out and get temporary custody of him, and that was that. I was like, oh, okay, so the episode will be about infiltrating this Imperial refinery to get the information they need to get to Moff Gideon and Baby Grogu. It was awesome seeing Boba in his new and improved, or at least clean, armor. He looked great. He and Fennec were both great in this episode. I love seeing Cara meet those two for the first time. I'm also curious, I was talking to my mom about it because we were watching it together over Zoom, and my mom brought up a good point. How is it that Mando's face would appear would be accepted through a facial scan, especially by an Imperial machine? It's like, what's that all about? Is there more to his past that we're not aware of? I mean, it's certainly possible, but he did get the necessary information that he needed to find little Grogu, and then it led to that great shootout between him and Mayfeld and the Imperials of that facility. So overall, good episode. Personally, didn't feel as strong as the last two, but not every episode can be that way, and that's okay. I am confident that next week's episode will be a ring dinner. I also loved how Mando used Moff Gideon's own words against him in the final scene of this episode when he sent him a message pretty much mirroring the exact same dialogue that Moff Gideon first used a year ago towards the end of season one when we first met him. So that was pretty satisfying to watch too. Hopefully, we'll get a nice, awesome fight between those two. So only time will tell. What did you guys think of this episode? I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. I sure hope Mayfield comes back for season 3, which was just confirmed yesterday at the Disney Investor Conference. There's a lot of news to talk about, and I'll address all of that in another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome rest of your day, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.